So we're going to do take 2 on cutting up the concrete hammer. I'm also going to try and remove the hydraulic tank, and that will probably do me for the day because it is absolutely roasting here. Let me just see. It is 26 degrees Celsius at 11 AM. Meant to get hotter, peaks at 28, and it feels a lot more than that because there's no cloud cover. It is a beautiful day to be by the lake, drinking beer or out fishing, not fucking about with this thing. But needs must. I don't know if it slid out any further or not. I'm sure I didn't see that cut line earlier. So maybe the fact it's been red hot for the last week has heated up the grease enough to release it slightly. But for those who asked, this is how it's held on to the frame. So there's this, I think that's 1.5 inch plate there, and I know that's 1.25 inch because I measured it. So the 1.25 inch plate is essentially what holds it to the frame. Not bolted down. It's got these giant, these giant mounting points where this, I think that's a 3-inch bar pivots on. And then if you look through there, you can see the front of the doits and the supports that you're meant to manually fold up and pin into place when this is in its vertical position. So yeah, what I'm going to do is set up for cutting. I have managed to get some acetylene, but I'm going to give it another go with propane just for the thin bits, lop them off. And yeah, try not to die of heat stroke. I've got water in the fridge. I'm not looking forward to this at all. I'm also going to take off the muffler for the doits, basically any bits of steel that aren't necessary. So this will be staying. Oh, that's getting really hot. Shouldn't have touched that. How's this do? This is still cool to the touch, which sort of tells you, but this is below ambient, which sort of tells you just how thick it is, I guess. That slab 6.5 plus these bits top and bottom make it about 8 inch thick. So yeah, going to try and cut these off. A little worried about the hydraulic lines, but I will figure that out. I'll probably see if I can chop the mount off and leave the cylinder inside. Because if I can leave the cylinder inside, I've got no issue then cutting through hydraulic lines or starting a fire. I'm going to draw the truck forward slightly so it's away from the shrubbery. Well, I say shrubbery, weeds and shit. And then start cutting. probably going to move it, just give it another quick shunt and line it up at this kind of angle so I've got more room, because if it doesn't fall out and if the telehandler's not back on site next week, the landlord's going to use his tractor to pull it out part way, so I can then hook up to so I can then cut through it with the acetylene. I managed to get hold of some. It was a bit of a pain, and it's the first time I've managed to get hold of any acetylene in about, probably in about 7-8 years. I rang around a few places, and luckily there was one spot who still sold it in small 10 litre bottles to general public or small hobby shops for use. So I'll just shunt this round and I'll be back in a minute. Dangerous, yes. Stupid, but I'm out of the kind of crush zone. I've got enough chain there. Well, got big strap, chain right at the end, so in the unlikely occurrence that the chain breaks, it's not going to flick back at the forklift. Well, that was a no-go. It's not moved, not even budged in the slightest. I thought I might have had a chance, given the grease is now fairly liquid. Yeah. Now I've got the fun job of getting them apart. Not really sure why it won't budge. It does look to be binding on this side, but there's nothing. I've checked the top, there's nothing that can get stuck on, and as far as I can tell along the bottom, there's nothing that it can stick on, because this would lower it in from the top, and all that limited the travel downwards was the box section and the rubber stop I've cut out, and the end of the ram stroke. I'm going to mess about a little, see if I can't find a way around this, and if not, I'll bring you back for cutting through the legs and parts of the hydraulic ram. I'm not going to be able to undo those bolts that are holding the pins in, so hopefully I'll be able to get the gas axe through the top and just slice the mounts off. But this is proving to be an absolute nightmare. So I don't know what I've done differently this time. Well, actually I've not done anything differently this time. I've just connected the regulator up again, and for some reason the propane seems to be cutting. So maybe a bad bottle of oxygen last time, but I thought I'd just use up the last kilo of propane that I had in that tank before moving to the acetylene. And as you can see, it's gone through I think that's 3/4, and we'll drop that down. So I'm going to cut this off next. Basically I just want to try and trim off little by little. This side I have also cut through, it's just not dropped. I'll clamber up there and see if it will move, but I think that was just a bit stiffer. The other side was a lot more satisfying. It just fell down in one go, and really fast at that. this one's really fucking stiff. Anyway, it's down. So next thing to do, I'm going to cut through this area, basically just drop that straight onto the ground, and then I'm going to try and run the axe along this weld on both sides, which will hopefully, oh, actually no, I can't run it down this side. I have to run it just above where that triangulation piece is. But if I do that, the side should fall off, and that should be, what, another, I don't know, 100 kilos off the weight of this back end. So if I can lose between the two and the bits of plate there, if I can lose another quarter ton, that'd be good. And then, yeah, we'll see what I can tick off the list next. I might try and take the big chunk that's sitting in the middle off, as that'll be a couple of 100 kilos there. And then following that, we'll see how I'm doing on time, because I might swap on to dismantling the hydraulic tank, or, well, I say dismantling, just chopping it off. Really, I do want to get this slab off though, so it can go inside the workshop, because this is what's stopping it. As I say, I need the slab off so I can jack this up properly, get the new tyres on, and hopefully at that point scrap might have gone up enough to warrant weighing some of this in. I've not coaled them in about a week and a half. It had gone up to £180 a tonne for heavy, and I'm hoping it's gone up a little bit more since then. Anyway, I'm going to get set up for cutting these off, and I'll just find somewhere to balance the camera. I might have to move the forklift over. Just lost a good bit of weight there. No idea how much it actually does weigh, but one down, one to go. Oh, I'm out of breath. I'm very unfit, and it's very hot. Oh. So I'm hoping now, with that out of the way, well, I'm going to come back with a sawzall and just, or the grinder, and just nip those lines. Then we'll forklift this out of the way over somewhere over there where it's not a nuisance. I'm probably going to try and scavenge the skip wagon hydraulic rams if they're any good. They should be. They've been fairly well protected in there. And I'll probably repurpose them for a log splitter or something, or just hoard them and never use them, which is the more likely scenario. I'm gonna chop this off as well because it's just kind of in the way, and it's just a case of slicing through that and picking up with a forklift and fucking it off. I'm going to cut through this one, and I'll come back, but it's looking a lot better already, isn't it? Well, to me it is anyway. One step closer to having the whole thing off. As I'm not going to be able to pull that out. I don't think lifting it once I've removed this weight is going to help, but we'll try it, and then yeah, be landlord, telehandler or tractor, and we'll just drag it out with either of them. Once that's off, I will stand I'll stand this upright because my little forklift will be able to do that, and once it's pinned in place, I'll do something a little bit dangerous, but we'll put a strap around the top, cut through the centre support, and then hold it, or essentially take the weight whilst I gas axe through the upright, and we'll take it off in 4 sections. So essentially the section above the holding pin, or the support leg, whatever you want to call it, which is there, which is pretty much halfway down the girder or channel. So it should hopefully come off in 4 equal sections. I forgot to put the camera back on when that fell, but exactly the same as the other side, and I think it looks a hell of a lot better now. So I'm going to grab the grinder, cut through the hydraulic lines, and I'll just stack them over there, then exhaust off, and possibly the big ram as well, depends. And at the minute I'm on fire watch, just making sure there's no hot sparks that have ended up somewhere where they shouldn't and hit some grease. So I know I shouldn't use water to put it out, but it works just for these little fires. So I got that. You can see the engineering that went into this, I think. Let me just I don't know whether you can make it out in the video. In fact, you will see this side. There should be the holes for these grease lines, and the grease control is in the truck. The grease is in here on a quick lube setup, and it would have squirted grease through the side and just kept this whole thing lubricated, obviously along the bottom and along the side of the contact surfaces. It's a well engineered piece of kit, but just a shame it's been left to rot like this. If it hadn't been in this condition, I would have kept it, but yeah, just, as you know, it wasn't worth it. So next job, because I'm not going to be able to get this out without the telehandler, I've come to that yeah, I've come to that conclusion. I'm going to chop the exhaust off and do the hydraulic tank as well. So this is the muffler, it's off now. Just cut through the 2 straps and it was already rusted off the exhaust pipe from the manifolds. So yeah, absolutely rotten. There's a load of it left in there as well. Oh, starting to look better, starting to look better. So I've cut through the hydraulic lines that go to the tank now. That one, the one with the filter, the one that goes up to the main pump, and the other one on the other side, or the big 4-inch return or whatever that is. I'm going to cut through the bolts next. You can see one of them just there, the others are kind of hidden, but if I stand in the middle of the frame I can get to them. So cut through them, going to hook up to the eyelet on the top of the tank and try and lift it off with a forklift. So I'm sitting on the rails beneath the sleeper where the ballast used to be, and you see I burnt through that bolt, burnt through the one at the back, which I could get from the other side. They're proving a little bit more difficult than I thought, just because they're mainly rust, and rust doesn't burn out and blow away like steel does. But the issue is I've got to get rid of it because I don't think the little mounting point, lifting point on top of the tank's man enough to rip those out, no matter how rusty they look. So 2 down and 5 to go, because that one is already snapped. I say 5, there's probably only 3 which have actually got heads that resemble bolts anymore. The others are just, yeah, horrid crusty crap. Anyway, I'll do this, yeah, and got some water on standby because the rubber blocks catch on fire quite easily. Again, I know not the correct fire extinguisher for the job, but it does it, and that's all that matters. So I've cut through that, thrown water over the top, and it's just smouldering away. So there's one left to do on the back side, and now I'm going to target that one and these 2 here. Don't know if that noise, oh yeah, you can hear it creaking. That's it starting to tilt. So I'll extinguish that now. 3 left. No, 4 left. Well, it's off. Made a little bit of a mess, so I'll come back with a shovel and move this gravel about, get some dust over it, etc. A lot of it is just that kind of watery mesh that was in the bottom of this tank. So it's mainly water anyway. But this is off. I've gone through the pipework rather than unbolting it because they were just seized solid, and I should hopefully be able to lift it up a little bit more and drag it whilst manhandling this back section through the gap, put it down over there with the skip legs, and I can start filling it up as a big scrap bucket. So tank's off. I'm going to take the lid off it next week, and I'll start on Monday probably, and I'll start throwing bits and pieces into the back of it. But now you can see the doits. Today's victory pile, shall we say, and so hopefully with the help of the big telehandler I'll be able to hook up to that block on the top. I was going to chop it, but I sort of rethought, and I think strap around that again with the telehandler and pull it backwards, and it might just slide. If not, we'll lift it, drop it out and cut through with the acetylene. I need to get more oxygen. I burnt through about 15 litres today, but yeah, making progress. That's the main thing, making progress. As you can see, I've got the tank off, I've got the stabiliser legs off, and I'm going to start by, well, I'm just going to tidy up now, get ready. My lift's on the way. Need to move some gravel about before I do, just to you know, get rid of some of the oil. There's only a little bit that's dripped when I move the tank. It's not the end of the world, but just make it look a bit tidier. We'll we'll get some dusty gravel and just throw that over the top. See, I'm still in my shade, well, in my cutting goggles, because it's really bright out and really hot. I've just dunked my head in the sink to cool down. A little bit of the collateral from earlier, melted that light holder. So that's least of my concerns, because I've got a new one, well, I've got new lights to go on. Set fire to this one as well. I was going to cut these off, but I don't have the motivation today. I'm also down to a quarter tank of oxygen, so I will get a refill for next week, and hopefully with the landlord's help, so we'll tip this up. I'll cut through the slab with the acetylene, and then then we'll tip it up again, and all being well, the other half should slide out. That literally just leaves. Oh, I did have to cut this off the tank. I didn't realise it was mounted to it, and when I started moving, it was just catching on stuff. It's the hand throttle for the doits. So we'll also remove the Vickers pump. I might do that. You know, I might actually come in on a Sunday and remove that, as well as the camshaft mounted Vickers pump at the top. I'm going to just pull the doits, get some money back out of it. It's one of them for me now. Yeah, it'd be fucking awesome to power the high ab crane with that, but I'm wanting to get an overdrive box. That'd cover the cost of an overdrive box of it would cover the cost of a Spicer power tower, and I can have a hydraulic pump on the power tower, or tower of power, whatever they're called. Basically just to sit in between the overdrive and the main box, because that'll allow me to get up past 60 miles an hour. Oh, it has not been the day for this today. There's my collateral damage for the day. Tank's over there. Blends in nicely with the landlord's. He might never notice it's there, to be fair. So yeah, I'm going to start to pack up. And next time it'll be the removal of the slab, so part 3 of this video. And that'll be it. Concrete hammer removed. Because if there's a part 4 I'm not going to show you, it's just going to start pissing me off if I'm on this every single time. But yeah, once that's done, Chuck can go inside the workshop. I can get the new fenders mounted to the front, and get the new fenders mounted to the rear. I've not made the rear ones yet, but I'll do a video on them, and then obviously when I mount them I'll do a video on that. I will also do a video on the Deutz, because I want to start it up in situ before I pull it, which is why I want to remove the Vickers pumps. Because just need to check that the fan belts are all in place and work out how to give it a diesel feed, because I don't think the original one works. In there, I don't know if you can see that little glow plug at the top. Well, it is a glow plug. It's a Baru, which is what I'm going to use to ignite the exhaust stacks on the truck with the propane. And what that is a valve, and it's a constant glow, a constant burn glow plug. So it lights up and it feeds fuel onto it through that little through that rail on the side. That's connected to the main fuel feed off the injector pump, and when it heats up on the glow plug circuit, that injects fuel onto the red hot plug. It starts a fire in the inlet manifold, which then means this thing can start in, like, you know, minus 30, minus 50, wherever the Russians have them or had them. So I've got one for each exhaust stack. We're going to modify them slightly, but essentially once they're ignited and I've got the propane going, that's it. It's just going to be continuous flame, which is brilliant. So we're going to use a nitrous solenoid for the propane, which will allow me to run it off a micro switch on the pedal, so anywhere above 50% throttle pedal travel I should get a nice flame from the exhaust, because I'm a child. Other than that, yeah, that's it for today and this video. I'm gonna go home, get a shower, hope I don't have heat stroke, and drink some beer. I'll see you in the next one.